Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Kelly Martin Chu, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and women's coach. And today I'm curious if you really are honest with yourself. Do you have a bitterness story? A story of pain and suffering that you tell yourself over and over and over again. In fact, it's so bitter when you really think about it. You just you get tight all over and you're sad and you're wondering, if you'll ever be able to get over this story. It's like the story that you wouldn't want to tell your children as they're going to sleep at night. It's the nightmare story. And so if you have a story, a bitter story, a story that causes that bitterness in your mouth around love, around money, around health, around your body, whatever it is, this bitter story that you know has been keeping you from feeling peace and sweet, sweet, sweet surrender, today's story is for you. We want to get you from the bitterness to the sweetness in life, the sweetness that you taste from honey. So my story begins just this past weekend where I attended a sacred ceremony, about 10 other people. And as we set our intentions on this beautiful private land up in the mountains, we ignited the fire, literally this beautiful fire. We put roses around it. It was really, really beautiful. So we set our intentions as a community, and then we released on the healing. For we would have several hours on this property to be in contemplation or to talk with our brothers and sisters on this journey. And I want to share with you the biggest takeaway that I got from this journey. So I want you to imagine you're in the mountains. I live in the Rocky Mountains in Boulder, Colorado, and we're up high in the mountains, probably an elevation of 7,000-8,000 feet. It's a beautiful sunny day. And at this point in the journey, we're probably maybe an hour or 2 hours into the sacred ceremony. People had dispersed on the land. Some people had gone down to the creek. Some people had just laid out in the sun. Everyone was doing something different. But I was standing next to a woman who we were swapping stories. And she had a lemon. In fact, she put the lemon on the top of her finger. And she said, I was drawn to bring this lemon, and I don't quite know why. And as she shared her story, she was like biting on the lemon, like a lemon rind. And if you're listening in, you know how bitter a lemon rind is. If you're following along, say yes, or give me some hearts or some thumbs up. Let me know you're following me on the bitterness of a lemon. And literally, she took it like just pulling off little bits of it, the rind, and chewing on it. And I was thinking, oh, so bitter. And I had just shared a story with her of a transformation that I had had years ago around me getting really sick and needing antibiotics. I had chronic bronchitis, and I was really resistant on taking antibiotics. And eventually I took the antibiotics, and in a short amount of time, I really started healing. And I had tried everything. So for whatever reason, I was drawn to share this story with her of sometimes we need to open up. And we were talking about how our world right now is so divided, and so anyway, I was sharing the blessings of antibiotics, that they really got me healthy, even though I tried all these holistic things. And so it ended up being a part of a revision of a book that I wrote. And as I was sharing this story and she's biting on the lemon, I could see emotions welling up in her. And she said, sometimes you just need to be with the bitterness of life. Sometimes life can be so bitter and so tough to swallow. And if you're listening, maybe you have lost a loved one, or maybe someone cheated on you, or maybe you've had a horrendous story around your finances. I know that there probably is a story in there of someone cheating on you, or stealing from you, or losing someone that makes you really bitter. You're really angry and bitter about this thing from your past. And she said, as she's looking at this lemon and chewing on the rind, she said, sometimes you really have to just be with the bitterness. And she shared, and she said how hard that is, because you want to just stuff it. Just pretend it didn't happen. Although the story rewinds in your mind over and over again. And she shared in that moment, she started getting angry, and the anger rose, and then the tears started coming down. And she said, I lost my mother to antibiotics several decades ago. And I can't believe I'm having this conversation again because I thought I'd healed it. But what was missing there was the presence and just being with the bitterness. She had been doing this for so long, pushing the bitterness away. And so, to get to that sweetness, she said, thank you so much for sharing how while antibiotics contributed to my mother's death, and she left this world way too early, these same antibiotics were healing medicine for you. And in that moment, we saw the cycle of life, and she said how much better it felt to just release it. And I just stood there, and I was with her, and I held her heart, and allowing that energy to pass, finally, so that she could move on to the sweetness of life. And she could see how all of the things began to make sense, because from this tragedy, she realized she became a healer and a massage therapist and an herbalist. And she realized from this journey of pain, she became the person that she was. And so my invitation for you is, number one, where are you holding bitterness and anger? And if it hasn't been expressed and you haven't shared it, it's time. It's time to be vulnerable and share this story with someone that can just hold space for you. Because naming it and claiming it meaning it really happened, only from there, and begin to look for the silver linings, then, and only then, can we move forward. And so I stand here as a teaching and a testament to what can happen when you just honor and that you are with the bitterness in life. So for you, it could be the bitterness of bankruptcy. It could be the bitterness of a lover that cheated on you, a marriage gone bad. It could be the bitterness of maybe you had a health or are having a health challenge. Just like this woman did, she bit into the lemon. She allowed the tears to come, and she was vulnerable enough to share her story with me. So, from there, she now has created a new opportunity of really embracing the sweetness in life. And I so want that for you. So, that is the lemon story from this sacred story, the sacred ceremony from this past weekend. It's the one thing that really stood out for me. And even I am thinking about where in the past might I still be holding anger and bitterness, and what am I ready to release, to surrender to. So if you are following me and you like what you're hearing, and you're ready to drop the bitter story and create a new story, a new love story, a new wealth story, then in the comments below say, release. Release. I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, and I will be with you on Tuesdays at this time. Be sure to like the page. And finally, if you are moved to work with me, and we can begin to claim your worthiness as a woman, your worthiness of love and money and abundance, then please DM me and let me know a little bit about your story, and we will set up a worthiness breakthrough call for you, a complimentary breakthrough call. If I feel like I am confident that I can help you, we'll set that call up, and we'll give you a mini recipe of how to have a breakthrough around your worthiness. And you can let go of that bitter lemon story that you've been calling and discover the sweetness of life. Signing off.